Hey guys on YouTube, it's ICY'S and welcome to ICY'S first ever tutorial on how to make a plugin for Minecraft. As you guys know, I have been making a plugin for Minecraft for the last 8 months now called Minelife UK. If you haven't already checked it out, it's awesome. Go to the website, it's www.minelifeuk.com and get a hold and play it. It's a really cool plugin which I've made. But one thing I wanted to do was to show you guys, because a lot of people have asked me, how on earth did you make a plugin? I mean, it's so cool. How on earth did you do it? Who taught you? I've actually just kind of self-taught myself, and you're looking at little snippets of code all over the internet, and it just gives you a really good base around what you need to do to start making a plugin. So once you've got the code down, you can just go ahead and just do what you gotta do. So what I'm going to show you guys, the same thing that I kind of learned, but I'm going to show you guys how to actually do it. I'm going to show you guys to make the first main, or we'll have to call the base of the plugin, and this is gonna have all the interaction from A to B, from using different types of stuff. But the plugin we're going to be using today to help us make this special plugin is the Citizens plugin, and I'm also going to be using Minecraft with SPIGOT version 1.8.8. There's going to be a link in the description to get all the server files, and I'm going to show you really quickly what it all looks like. So if we go into SPIGOT, it's going to be a YouTube default server, so you're going to have a very default stuff, everything exactly the same as you normally would have. Just gonna have a default world. We should actually just regenerate this so you guys can see it all done as well. It'll be really nice, pretty nice. And yeah, I'll leave that. We've got plugins, and all you need is Citizen plugin for that bit. You need the Craft Bucket 1.8.8. You need SPIGOT 1.8.8 and the APIs for the SPIGOT as well. It's all gonna be in the description below, so you can just download it and go ahead and either copy the video or get the source code, which will be in the description as well. So how do you start off? Well, you need to get Eclipse. The version of Eclipse I am currently using is, if I can find it, is version 4.4.2. The link to where to get Eclipse is going to be in the description. I don't think it makes a difference which Eclipse you use. It just makes it has a difference to make sure you have the right Java installed. So make sure you have any Java or JDK installed, but make sure it supports 1.7.0. I'm sure it is, but we'll double check anyway. So the way you start making a plugin, you have all these fields, but the main ones you need to really look at is this one, the package explorer, here the code bench, what I like to call, and here the problems because you will have a lot of problems when you're making a plugin, which is always a good thing to look at, because it tells you if you're missing something, or if you have like 30,000 lines of code, you know where the plugin is, where its location is, and what is the error. And that's what I really like about it. It's why Eclipse is so versatile. So the first thing we're going to start doing, we're going to click on Package Explorer. We're going to right click and do new Java project, and you can name this absolutely anything. We're going to, because it's just literally just a folder, so we're going to name this YouTube NPC spawner, because that's literally what we're going to be making. It says the GRE we're going to be using is 1.7, and you click finish. And there you go, it's now spawned a new package with all the stuff inside. It also has a warning that something about Windows 1.7 is not installed, but don't worry about that. If you have this error, it's okay. At least that make sure it's working, because mine does work, as you can see. If it didn't pick this up, it means it's not installed. So I would personally ignore this. This is the one error I've actually ignored a lot, and it's not causing me any problems. I've been able to make plugins and everything without this, with this error, and it's not exactly an error, it's kind of a warning, but I wouldn't be fussed about it, to be honest. So what you got to do, you have two folders inside this little new folder you've made. You've got two types of files. One is the libraries for the GRE, which is this, and SRC, which is the folder where all the code's going to be in. So you right click here, you click new, and then you click on package. And the package, there's many ways that people do it. Some people do me.whatever it is. I personally like to do org. I don't know why, it's just I think it's more of like a plugin type of thing, because if you look at some of the biggest plugins that are in the world now, they all start with org. So I don't know, maybe it's just a habit. I just like using org. So it's your choice. You can use me, so you can use, for example, me dot whatever name, or you can use org, but it's down to you. So I'm personally going to use org. So then you call whatever your plugin's name is going to be, or a server's going to be, anything. So I'm just going to call it YouTube. It's up to you. It can be anything you want. Click finish. And now you have one of these, the weird looking box. It's kind of a container, it's a package container. So inside this you can actually hold your source code. So you right click here and you click new at the top, and you click class. So we're gonna start making actual class for the actual Java class. So we're gonna name the class main. You can name this anything you want, it's all up to you, but make sure you remember the name, because even though you will see it everywhere, it's always good to know which class you're going to be referring to. So when you click enter, you start off with this. So the package we're using is org.youtube, and the plugin is called main, as you can see here, main.jar. So the things we've got to start off with doing is actually adding the Minecraft files to Eclipse. So to do this, right click the package at the very top. You're gonna see build path, configure build path, and then you have all of this stuff here. Click add external jars, because they're not normal jars, external because they've been made, and go to where it is. Here we go, and you need to just add each and every one of them. So we've got the craft plugin 1.8.8, we've got the SPIGOT, you also got the SPIGOT API, and we also need, of course, the citizens. So once you go all of that, just click OK, and everything should be fine. There's also I'm gonna quickly just get this other link as well, because it's used for, if you're currently using internet, you can use this to get help with all the source code and all those little codes that you might need. So what you just do is just add this code as well. It's going to be in the link in the description. For the SPIGOT, you can actually just get this from a website. Just usually click validate, apply, and OK. But I can't, because I have no internet, as you can clearly see. So I'm going to show you guys what you need to do now. At the top where you got the main class, because we're going to be using the Java plugin, we need to extend this class. So we're going to write extend, and the class we're going to extend it is the bucket class. So we're going to be plugin.bucket.java plugin. And what that literally is going to do, so it extends, that's why it was giving me error. That's literally going to allow me to use the Java plugin from Minecraft, as you can see, the bucket Java plugin, into this. So whatever code I can do can now be used as a plugin on actual servers, which is really cool. So now all we gotta do now is we also need to implement one other thing. We need to implement a listener. So implements. Which one is it? Implements. I spelled it wrong, that's why. I'm thinking what's going on. There we go. Implements listener. We need to import the listener by clicking the top one, because it's the one we're using is from the bucket files, not the actual Eclipse listener, because that's not going to help us at all. And we need the first few functions that you start off with. The first few functions you're going to need is, the first one is plugin.onEnable. Oh, okay. The second one we're going to be needing is plugin, so public on, sorry, boolean, in fact, because it's a boolean type, and this one is of course a void. Sorry, I missed it out, because void, what it means is, I will quickly explain it to you after I quickly type them in, and I'll explain them what they are and what they do. So we've got command, and the type of commands we're going to be implemented for this listener is the command sender. Yep. And it's called sender, we'll just name him. The command itself, the command string, we'll call it CMD label, and of course the string inargs. What these are, a lot of people aren't actually sure what this last bit is. What this actually is, when you ever have a Minecraft plugin and you type in, for example, /op, this is ICY'S in a sense. Whoops. What the string odds is anything after the first character. So in case ICY'S is the name, that will be in the string odds, but the actual word OP will be in here. Do you understand, guys? That's kind of what it is and what it's used for. So once we've got this, we're going to need to open and close that too. And the last one we're going to need is another void, but this is going to be a private void, because we don't want this to be accessed from anywhere apart from this plugin. And we're going to go reload my config. What it's going to do is, when you have saves, when you save configuration files, it will save it here, and it will just be nice and tight just for you. Because what it allows us to do is, when you've made a plugin and you have things that you want to save, so that when you turn the server off, turn it back on, and you want it to still be there, that's when you're going to need this little void statement, because what it does is it allows you to save and then reload it. That's why it's really cool. So inside of this, we're just gonna quickly explain what these bits are. A boolean is what I call the switch. It's the on and off. It's a true or false statement. So if it's true, it will return true. If it's false, it will return false. But you can tell which one it tells. But in this situation, if you do return false, that means this statement failed. But if you return true, that means it succeeded. And it's just for the plugin to know that everything is going good. So in this situation, when we're going to start from right top, we've got one error here, and it's saying the command is not used. So we're going to add the command, which is this one, not this one, but not this one, but this one. Reason why it's this one, this is the command for the NPCs, which is a completely different plugin. This is the command we're going to be using because the block it command plugin, and this is for materials, which is completely unnecessary. So we're going to click on this one, and as you can see, it's working perfectly. And reload is yellow because it's not in use anywhere. So it's never used locally. So we need to use this for it to go, but it's not a problem at the moment. So first we're going to start with on enable. And you're going to need to, first of all, we need to check if the citizens is in use. If we do not have citizens, there's no point having the plugin. So what we're going to do is a quick code. We're going to do if statement. And we're going to do get the current server we're on. So get server, which is this plugin server. We're going to get the plugin listener. So is it the plugin manager. So this is the manager of all the actual Minecraft server files that monitors all the plugins we have on the server. We're going to see if we can get a specific plugin name. So we're going to do get plugin and its name, and in our case we're going to, the plugin we need is called citizens. So we're going to type in citizen, okay, and then we have whatever variable one. So if it's equal to nothing, which means it was never used. And then one really cool thing about in programming terms, you can do and or statements. To do an and is a double at key, or you can do, I'm not sure what that is, but that's what you use for or. So in our case, we're going to be doing that one for or. So if it's equal to nothing, or if we get this again, so if it's equal to nothing, or this code, oops. Let's just bring this down so we can see it more. So if it's equal to nothing, or citizen is enabled is true, sorry, is enabled is not true, so it's equal to false, then I want it to do something. But there's many ways you can do false statement. You can do is false, like so, or you can do it like this. You can do it like that, and you can have that key in front. What that means is if this is true, you won't have that, because what this means is, for example, that's what that means. That means true. So if for example I had any variable, for example, called x, which was an integer, so it was a boolean. So boolean x, for example, was equal to true, and I said if x is true, if this is x is true, for example, it will be completely fine. But if I said this, that means if x is not true. It's kind of, you have to just kind of play with it, to be honest. So in this situation, we're going to do it the normal way. So we're going to just do if it's enabled is equal to false, then do something. And what we're going to do is a few things. We're just going to send some commands to the physical server itself. So we're going to get the command, the logger, which is for the actual plugin command itself, and we're going to log a command. And the command that we're going to log is this. So we're going to do open, so it's java.utility.login, the level, so you can say how bad you want it, if it's important, if it's not important. It's a severe command because it's really important. If this happens, that is kind of dangerous, so you need to make sure it's severe so that the plugin knows this is bad. Okay, so we're going to be on severe and whatever text we want it to be. So I'm going to say citizens is not enabled. Okay, and what we're going to do is that we're just going to close that command. So that command is now done, and the next one we're going to do is also disable this whole entire command, because if this happens, we don't want the command to even, the server to even register this plugin at all. So we're going to get the plugin manager again, and we're going to disable a command, the plugin, and the plugin we're going to disable is this one. Just write this. So because this is the actual physical plugin itself, so we're going to disable this plugin. You could write his name, but it's kind of pointless in this situation. And then we're going to return because we don't want it to do the rest of the actual command on server. Okay, so that means now if this is false, it will continue. It will continue here. So what we're going to do is we're going to register all our traits, because the way we're going to do the plugin is we're going to have a trait, what I like to call a king trait. What a king trait is when one NPC holds a certain trait, and when he's doing what he's going to be doing, everything else works into play. And so if you've seen on my server, Minelife UK, I have a big ship in the middle of the world, and this ship has an NPC, only one NPC, and he sits up there and he just holds this trait, and that's all he does all day. He just sits there and holds a trait. And that's exactly what's going to happen in this situation as well. So what we need to do in this situation, we need to register the traits, this physical trait that we're going to now make with the Citizens API. But to do this, we're going to need a few things. First, we're going to need a new class that extends the trait, because we need a certain trait to be able to be used as a trait. So to do this, we're going to right click on what I got auga.youtube, right click it, click new, and click class, and we're going to make a new class, and you can name this anything you want. I'm going to name this the king trait, because that's kind of what he does. He is a king, and he owns, the only person who owns a natural trait. So here we go, we've got king trait class, and it extends the trait class. So it extends trait. We're going to import the trait. We can't do it just yet. That was when we connect these two together. Okay, that's not a problem. Okay, we also got an initializer or a constructor called public king trait. And whenever you start up this plugin, it's going to do a certain thing, which would be this. Okay, and what it's going to do is going to have a super command, because it's going to use anyone who's using this certain trait, and the trait we're going to call it NPC. Why not? Okay, give me anything, you name it, absolutely anything you want. So that's what's going to be registered in the trait plugin. So what happens is, when that's a trait command, so when you try to make this plugin, it will say, okay, it's just anyone using this trait will be able to use any code that's in the king trait. That's kind of how it works. So we also need a plugin that we're going to use from here. So what we're going to do is type main, and we're going to call it a plugin, because what we're going to do is we're going to get a plugin from here and use it here, and this plugin currently is equal to nothing. What this means is, if this is not set, it does nothing. That's kind of just sort of exactly what it is. So if it is got that name, we're going to give it certain variables. So we're going to do plugin is equal to the main plugin, and then we're going to go access the bucket, and we're going to get the server. A lot of servers. Get the plugin manager. Get the plugin called. So we're going to name it main, because that's what our one is called here. Our one is called main, and we're going to finish that. And literally that's it for the starter, apart from this bit. There we go. See, now it's working perfectly. Import trait. So we can click import trait. It imports it for the citizens because it's now used this. Without this, it has no access to this. And remember, this is what's got access to all the main commands of the server. So with that code now working, we can save it, and it's just working perfectly. Okay, so the next bit we need to do for the last bit of this server, of the server base, we need to extend the trait plugin. So what we need is to finish off what goes inside the my config. So in here we're gonna have this, and we're gonna save the configuration, but the default configuration files, and then we're also gonna just reload it after that too. So reload config files, and that's it. That's it for the reload my plugin. But we need to also access it. But remember, we need to send the trait from here to here. So to do this, what we need to do is we need to use citizens. So we're going to do .net. So net dot, which is all citizens API and all that lovely stuff. That's done by citizens because it uses the citizen name. Just like I said to you earlier, we're using org or me, because I prefer typing org. Is it going to pick up loads? There it is. You can see it picks up a lot of stuff. Okay, so it all depends on which is your preference. So in my case, for citizens, it's net dot. Okay, then we have the citizens API, and then we also have the citizens API citizens again. Just make sure. Yep. Should be capital, that's why. Ah, sorry, look in the wrong place. Right there, right in front of us. There we go. And then with that, now we've got access to all of the citizens API. So we've got all the citizen stuff, which is nice and perfect. We need to get the trait factory, which is all the traits plugin and everything that's done by the traits, all done in this little factory thing. And we need to register a new trait. And the trait we're going to register is the one that we recorded before in the King trait, known as trait NPC. So to do this, we need to make a new trait. So net dot citizens again, citizens API, and then trait. Then we've got trait information, and then create. And this will allow us to create a new trait. So to get this trait now, we need to get it from the King trait plugin. So because the class extends it. And the one that extends it is the one over there. So we've got King trait dot class, because that's what extends it. And then with that class name, we're gonna what name we need to do. So we're gonna do create it with the name or whatever name we want. So in our case, it's trait NPC. Okay, and that should be all. And let's just make this a little bit more prettier so you can see it nice and perfect. So that's all done. And before we finish this, we're also going to do a reload, because there's gotta be a use for it. So that way, after it's done all the trait stuff, it's gonna reload the plugin and set all the new variables we need. So now we can save it, and the main class is done for the base. Last thing we've got to do is for the King trait. There's a few things we've got to add for us to be ready. The first thing you need is the few functions. The first function you're going to need all happens inside this bracket, because that's the class. The first one we're going to need is a public void load, and to use this, it uses a certain data key. We just name it key, and we can open it and close it. Okay, we're going to import data key. It's all by citizens, because it's all citizen code. Okay, the next thing we're going to need is another public variable, public void called onAttach, and this is what happens when the plugin is attached to the NPC, the trait plugin. So we're gonna have it like that. Open close as well. Another one we're gonna need is void on despawn. That's when you despawn a NPC. Public void on spawn. This is when any NPC is spawned. And last of all, we're gonna need public void on remove. So you can understand what these do. When anything is loaded, any data is loaded, it will go through here, through the data key. When anything is attached, it will go into here. When anything is despawned, it will go through here. When it goes to anything spawned, sorry, despawned or spawns or gets removed, that's when the actual NPC is removed from the actual plugin. And if it goes through here. One last piece of code I'm going to add, and this code I don't think comes standard with the plugin. It's one that I looked into and found myself, which we're going to be using to do the last bit of the base. We're going to be needing a lot, is public void click. And what this will allow you to do is allow you to left click a NPC, and then you can do whatever you want with it. It's really, really cool. So the variable we're going to need to put into this function is net dot citizens NPC dot API dot event, and then you have loads of different codes that you can use, but the one we're going to be using is NPC left click event. It should, I don't know if you got right click as well, but the one we're going to be needing is left click. Okay, and this is the template event. But to use it as an event and for the event to be registered, you need a certain thing which is called an event handler. To add event handler, all you got to do is have an @ key, capital E, event handler, and import it, and there you go. So what happens is now whenever an event is called for, whenever any person left clicks an NPC or any NPCs, it will trigger that, and it works absolutely perfectly. So guys, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to leave a like because it helps me out, it helps the channel grow, and it helps everyone have a great community. Take a look at my gaming videos. We have a lot. We've got giveaways going on, just loads and loads of awesome stuff going on. So guys, are you guys looking forward to it? Hope you guys take a look at part 2. It will be in the description below. It should also be on a thumbnail on my screen right now. So troops, stay awesome, and I'll see you in the next one.